Okay, I think we're about ready to get started. Good morning, everybody. My name's Bernard. I'm the head of UK student recruitment here at the university, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the University of Manchester this morning to our undergraduate open day. The purpose of my presentation this morning is really to provide just a general introduction to the University of Manchester and to the undergraduate student experience. So basically, what I'm trying to do this morning, for the students in the room in particular, I want to try and give you guys a sense of what awaits you should you choose to come and study here. So here we are, at the University of Manchester. We are the largest single-site university in the UK, so we're a very big university. We've a student community here of approximately 40,000 students, and about 25,000 of those are undergraduate students from across the UK and Europe. And you'll see from this slide, this really well illustrates the size and scale of the university. But also our proximity to Manchester city centre. So we are just under the E of university. That's University Place, the building that we're in this morning. So if you come out of this building, turn right onto the Oxford Road, you can actually walk into Manchester city centre in about 10 to 15 minutes. I think you'll also get a sense from this slide that even the most energetic amongst you, even those of you who are going to spend all day with us today, you are only going to get the opportunity today to see quite a small snapshot of what the university has to offer. And that is something I did try to bear in mind when I was putting this presentation together. I'm conscious, it's early, it's 9:15 on a Saturday morning. I think the last thing you guys are going to want to do is to sit here and just read loads of written information off PowerPoint slides. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I've just looked for some photos, some images of parts of the university, parts of the city that you might not have the opportunity to reach today. And also some images like this next one, which I think just perfectly captures the essence of what it is to be a student here in Manchester. Now, I am, of course, joking. Manchester does have this reputation for kind of bad weather and for a lot of rain. And I just want to reassure you that it's completely unjustified. The weather that we're getting today, sunshine, 25 degrees, that's the kind of weather we get all the time here in Manchester. So your reaction suggests that you perhaps don't believe me, which is fine. I'm just going to have to convince you otherwise. Now, the way to convince anyone of anything at this university, the way to win any argument is with reference to data. So I had a quiet moment during the week, and I've actually put together a little data table for us. So here it is. First thing to note, highly reputable source, the UK Met Office. And as you can see, we've got average yearly precipitation here, and Manchester actually receives quite significantly less rainfall than other European cities that you might associate with better weather. So there it is. You can't argue with the data. Now, in these kind of types of presentations, I imagine you're all going all over the UK this summer, visiting other universities, attending other open days. You'll sit through other similar kind of introductory talks. In these kind of talks, it's considered really poor form, much wetter on that side of the Pennines. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit off topic, just playing for laughs now, and I need to get back to the presentation proper. What I said at the outset was, I want to talk to you about what's distinctive about the University of Manchester. What is it that separates us apart from some of the other universities that you might be thinking of applying to? And to begin to answer that question, I think we have to go right back to the beginning and talk a little bit about the history and heritage, both of the university and of the city. So I'm sure that many of you will be familiar with the history of the city of Manchester. So we're best known as the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. So a hugely prosperous city around the turn of the 19th century, where all of the industry was based around the production of cotton. And at that time, the city was inhabited by mill owners, factory owners, scientists. And those individuals are really important because it was them who encouraged the spread of education across the city. So they needed a way to upskill their workforce, so they created a university. And we trace our roots back to the Industrial Revolution. We were founded in 1824, and this is the Whitworth Building, which is one of the original premises of the university on the Oxford Road in this part of the city. This building's actually housing our student experience exhibition today. So this building's open, you can go in and have a look around for yourself. Over the years, the university's also seen numerous really groundbreaking achievements and discoveries. Really hard for me to do that kind of justice in such a short presentation, but I've picked out a couple of examples for you. So Manchester is the birthplace of modern computing. So the world's first stored program computer was designed and built here in 1948 by these two gentlemen, Tom Kilburn and Freddie Williams. And there were other computers that were designed elsewhere around the world at this time, but this was the first machine that had the ability to store its own memory. And that's really the feature that we associate with modern computing today. We've also made really important contributions to civic society. This is Christabel Pankhurst. So she graduated from the university in 1906 with a degree in law, but she was unable to go on and practice because she was a woman. So instead, she, alongside her mother, Emmeline, she went on to commit her life to fighting that injustice. She became a leading light in the suffragette movement. And as you walk around campus today, I just encourage you to look out for these blue plaques. So these plaques are on a number of our buildings, and they commemorate the contributions and the achievements of members of academic staff who've worked at the university over the years. I'm not going to dwell too long on the past, though. I appreciate you are here to find out about what the university can offer you today. And I'm going to start talking about some of the main features of the undergraduate student experience, about teaching and learning. But I thought I'd start by talking about our campus and the facilities that we're able to offer. And this aerial footage gives you a really nice kind of perspective on campus. You'll see a lot of this today. And what I hope you'll get a sense of is the level of investment there's been here at the university, really over the course of the last 10 to 15 years. In that time period, we've invested over £1 billion in the university estate, in new buildings and facilities, and you can see some of those here on the flyover. You'll also see from this that there's a really nice blend here at Manchester between the old and the new. So you'll see these kind of modern facilities that are sitting kind of side by side with some of the original premises of the university. That's the Whitworth Building again. So you've got this lovely kind of juxtaposition between the old and the new. Now, I want to talk just briefly about research, because we are a research-intensive university. We're part of the UK Russell Group, if you're familiar with that grouping of UK kind of research-led universities. And all of our research obviously kind of feeds into our undergraduate courses, into our teaching and learning. And again, we're a huge university, hard to do this justice, but to pick out a couple of examples of the kind of research that I think we are very well known for, the first of which is graphene. So I'm sure some of you will have heard of graphene, particularly the physicists or material scientists in the room. Graphene it's a new material, and it was discovered here, first kind of isolated in 2004 by two physicists who went on to be awarded the Nobel Prize for the discovery of graphene. It's made up, as you can see from the slide, of a single layer of carbon atoms. So graphene is the thinnest and the lightest material known to man, but it's also the strongest. So it's several hundred times stronger than steel, and it's conductive of electricity, it's semi-permeable, it's got just remarkable properties. It's a very important discovery, hence the Nobel Prize. And there's a lot of investment going on at the moment into the university to look at potential commercial applications of graphene. Things like material for lightweight aircraft and cars, new drug delivery systems. A lot of people talking about graphene potentially as a replacement for silicon in the longer term. But we're not just about kind of science and engineering. We have a huge faculty for the humanities and offer a huge number of kind of humanities and arts-based courses. The humanities faculty is actually equivalent in size to the University of Kiel. So it's a huge faculty. And again, I can only pick out one example, but a research project that stood out to me quite recently is we have an academic colleague within our School of Arts, Languages and Cultures who is looking at how rap lyrics are being used in criminal trials, particularly in the US, and how prosecuting lawyers are using rap lyrics kind of almost to infer bad character on the part of defendants and how that has the potential to prejudice criminal trials. So a couple of examples of the research that's taking here that's all feeding into the teaching and learning that our students receive. Now, I'm not going to talk in detail in this presentation about our courses and about teaching and learning because it's very difficult for me to pitch. You know, you're all applying to very different things. The most important thing you'll do today is go into academic departments, meet with staff, meet with students, and they're much better placed than I am to talk to you about those kind of individual courses. One thing I do want to stress, though, is, well, I really want to address a bit of a misperception, which is, I think, a hangover from the COVID-19 pandemic. I think there's possibly still a perception that universities are still teaching online. And I just want to reassure you that that is not the case here at Manchester. Our primary mode of delivery and of teaching is face-to-face on campus. So if you come to study here, that will be your experience. You will be taught in person by academic staff. You will come onto campus. You will study alongside other students. Now, obviously, over the course of the pandemic, our teaching did move online, and we developed a whole raft of new digital resources. We started capturing all of our lectures. We have continued to develop our virtual learning environment. So we've got these fantastic digital assets, and our students are saying, well, we want access to that as well. So I think the key point here is, again, if you come and study here, the best way to think about it is like a blended experience. You will receive that face-to-face teaching. It will be an on-campus experience, but you'll get access to all of this digital content, resources, tools that will really enhance your experience, your learning experience. Instead of talking about courses, I wanted to share with you a little bit of information about a program of co-curricular and extracurricular activities that all of our students are able to participate in. And this is a program called Stellify. So we've designed Stellify to help our students develop the kind of skills and qualities that we know they need in order to be successful when they graduate. So through the Stellify program, students can do lots of different things. It's optional, so everybody's pathway through the program will be slightly different. But students who really engage with this, who complete a set number of Stellify activities and who volunteer whilst they're studying with us, they can graduate with a Stellify award, which is listed on their degree certificate and is a great way of demonstrating, particularly to graduate employers, everything you've done at university just beyond your undergraduate degree. So I've just picked out some examples now of the kind of things you can do as part of this Stellify program. The first of which is studying abroad. And this is an option that's available to the vast majority of our students who can study abroad either for a single semester or a full academic year. We have lots of students obviously studying modern foreign languages, and they go and study overseas in kind of mainland Europe. But we have it's about 70 or 80 different international partner universities if you want to study outside of Europe. So we have students in North America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, across Southeast Asia. So if this is something you're interested in, there's lots of choice, and we have a designated study abroad unit here at the university who can provide kind of further guidance, can support you with your application if you want to study overseas as part of your course. Now, we're also really keen to encourage students to expand their horizons academically. And we're trying to achieve this through something we call our University College for Interdisciplinary Learning. Now, it's not a physical college. You can't visit it on your campus tour today. Rather, it's a virtual college that offers course units that enable our students to study something that's completely unrelated to their undergraduate degree. So I'll give you an example. If you came here to study history, through University College, you could take an optional, it's usually 10 credit course unit, studying something like artificial intelligence or future cities or an introduction to Mandarin. There are hundreds of course units on offer. And we think this is really important. You know, I've spoken about this amazing environment we have here at this huge university with 40,000 students, 10,000 members of staff, world-leading, academics. If young people came here and just studied one thing in isolation of everything else, we think that would be a real missed opportunity. You should come here and be able to explore your interests, your intellectual curiosity, and students are able to do this now through University College. If you're interested in kind of the college, you want to find out a little bit more, or if you want to experience the type of course units that are on offer, we recently launched some taster course units around the topics that you can see here. It's all publicly available and very accessible. All the units are delivered by academic members of staff teaching here at the university. It's not a big time commitment. Each module is about an hour in duration. But we'll follow up with you. Anyone who's registered for our open days will follow up with some further information if you want to explore any of these topics through the college. This also all links to a program called Ethical Grand Challenges. So as a university, we have 3 strategic priorities, which are research, teaching, but we have a third one, which is social responsibility. So we are, like as I've been saying throughout, a very big, very powerful organisation. We have £1 billion turnover. And we feel very strongly that we should be striving to be a force for positive change in the world. And there's lots of ways in which we can do that through our research, like graphene, through teaching. But the biggest contribution we can make to the creation of a better world, a fairer society, is through our students, because there are simply just so many of them. We're going to produce about 500,000 graduates over the course of the next 40 or 50 years. So the behaviours, the ethics of our students, that probably represents the biggest contribution that we can make to the creation of a better world. And I appreciate that's a really lofty ambition, but it's something we're really committed to as a university. We're really keen to recruit students who identify with that. And if you join us, you will participate in this Ethical Grand Challenges programme. So on each year of your undergraduate course, you will work with students from across the university exploring topics around sustainability, workplace ethics, and social justice. And obviously, all of this activity is building employability skills in our students. So communication, teamwork, leadership skills. And the success of our students, I think, academically, but also when engaging with programs like Stellify, it is evident in the levels of graduate employment that we see in our students. And we are highly targeted by the university's top 100 graduate employers. So I'm conscious of time now. I'm not going to run past about kind of 9:45, because I'm conscious that you need to move on to other sessions. But I'm just going to share some brief information about the city. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with the city of Manchester. So very big, cosmopolitan city, huge community of students, about 90,000 students in total, studying across the 3 universities in Greater Manchester. We're very well known for our music scene. There are hundreds of music venues across the city, and we have 3 music venues here on campus associated with our Students' Union. So we get some quite big name bands and acts actually coming to perform here at the university. We're also a city that is hugely passionate about its sport. And I'm sure many of you will recognise this image from outside Old Trafford, Manchester United Stadium. But just to give you a quick example of just how passionate Mancunians are about their sport, I've been delivering this presentation for a number of years now. A couple of years back, after one of the presentations, I was approached by a gentleman from the audience. He was accompanying, I think it was his daughter, to the open day. And he came up to me and very politely pointed out that Manchester United isn't the only football team in the city. And he asked for my email address, which I thought was a bit unusual, but he seemed like a reasonable guy, no reason not to give it to him. So I gave him my email address. It was a Saturday open day like this one, so I came back into the office on Monday morning, and he'd actually emailed me an additional slide for inclusion in my presentation. So there it is, so as not to offend any of the City fans. But we're obviously not just about sport. There are scores of art galleries across the city, 3 professional orchestras. Culturally, the city is so rich, so diverse. Now, I'm going to just close now by kind of posing this question. So is Manchester the right choice for you? And I want to really end by saying a little bit about what we kind of stand for as a university. But rather than do that in my own words, I'm actually going to share with you, it's a very short video, it's 2 minutes in length. And it's not a promotional, university promotional video. It's a video that was commissioned for the installation of one of our former chancellors, a guy called Lem Sisay. And Lem's a poet, and I just want to share with you some of his words in which I think there's a really important message about not what we're good at and what we stand out for as a university, but what we actually stand for as a university.
Open the dawn in the open sky, the laboratory, open the book, open the challenge, with open eyes. Open, out, look. Open all minds, open all dreams. Research, question, open all doors, open all senses, open all defenses. Ask, what were these closed for? In the possibilities of light, the nature of trust, the strength of unassailable us. How strong the night lies as light aerates the dark, and atomic dreams multiply from a graphene heart. We who have walked the world in the name of here and where we came from, stand in this great city and say, I belong here. I belong. I bring my past, I bring my future, I bring my rights and I bring my song. I stand atop the University of Manchester. We belong here. We belong.
Well, that's very profound for a Saturday morning, isn't it? But, I end with that because, I think in Lem's words, there is a really important message about place and about belonging, and it just seemed really relevant to today. And I want that really to be the take-home message of this presentation. I've spoken a lot about this being a very prestigious, world-leading university, and, we are unashamedly an elite university, but we're not an elitist university. And I do hope you get a sense of that today, of just what a welcoming, what a diverse, what an inclusive university this is. And again, for the students with us today, you guys, when you're on your way home later this evening, I just hope there's absolutely no doubt in your mind about how welcome you would be if you choose to come and study here. So I'll leave it there, but thank you for your time, your attention, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your day.